Today we are going to be using oil pastels to make a koala. We're going to use this turquoise colored paper. We have several oil pastel colors in the baggie. If you want to get them out, you can lay them where you can get them handy while we draw today. We're going to start first by talking about how to clean oil pastels. Sometimes our lighter colors get really dirty, so if you just rub it on the back of your paper, that will help clean it off and get you a fresh color. It's kind of like an eraser for oil pastels. Go ahead and do that now if you need to clean off some of those lighter colors in your bag. Now we are ready to draw. We're going to start first by taking our black oil pastel, and we're going to draw a kind of a circle oval shape for the koala's head. Then we're going to do a zigzag line over that oval shape because our koalas have texture of fur. We're going to add in 2 half circles for ears. Right now your koala probably looks a little more like a fuzzy Mickey Mouse to you than a koala, but that's going to change as we continue to draw. Now we have to think about our koala and the other textures. Because they are fuzzy, we're going to go ahead and draw in the things that aren't fuzzy on their body, which would be the big black nose. And then also we're going to add the eyes in. We're going to now draw a line that curves down for the body. And then we are going to add the front arm. This is going to be the arm that we see around the tree stump. And it just comes out really like an L shape. And then you can just put a round line at the end. And now we're going to do the bottom leg. Again, notice how I did all of the lines straight and then go back on top with the zigzag. Again, the zigzag adds the texture of the fur, and by drawing with a straight line, it's easier to draw than trying to just make a continuous zigzag line while drawing. Now we're going to go in and do a small line for the top of the chest, and then a line behind the chest where it's like the back of the arm. Then we're going to switch to the light tan oil pastel, and we're going to start drawing a line in for the eucalyptus tree. I'm just kind of using a diagonal line that will go off my paper. Again, depending on how big you drew your koala, that's how big you are going to make your tree. I switched back to the black and drew the paw in, and then back to the tan to finish the rest of the tree. We want the koala to look like it is supported by our eucalyptus tree. And then now it's going to go back down, and then we will curve some more of the tree behind the koala like it's sitting on it. Now, this is where we're going to start taking our tan, and you can see mine's kind of dirty, so I'm going to clean it off. And we're just going to color a really smooth layer of tan all over the tree. I'm also cleaning off my fingers, so if you need to do that too a little bit from drawing with the black, you can do that as well. I'm now coloring on the side. I'm pressing pretty hard because I want a nice layer of tan, because we're actually going to use the dark brown and the tan to blend together to give that texture of a tree trunk. That's what's great about drawing with oil pastels, is you really get to see that art element of texture in drawing, whether it's the furry koala or the eucalyptus tree. bark. Now you'll see that when I get close to the black, it kind of streaks a little bit, and that will happen with yours as well. And that's okay, because again, that would be a little bit darker part of the tree because the koala is holding on, and it would create a natural shadow. We're going to go back to the black now, and again, turning it on its side, we're going to color really lightly on our koala. Now you might say, wait, Miss Lechner, koalas are not black. You're right. We're going to do a trick with the white oil pastel to create a gray color. Okay, you can see I'm coloring in a circular motion. This is called scumbling. And when we color with the scumbling over the top, of the black with our white oil pastel, just like we talked about with neutral colors, white and black make gray. I'm leaving some parts of the koala's fur to look darker, just again for some value, and maybe to add a little more form with the koala, and also just to again to continue that texture of the koala's fur without having to draw in each little tiny hair. I'm going to clean off the oil pastel because our next spot to color with the white is going to be on the ears, and we don't want too much black in the ear to make it gray like the body. We want to be able to tell the difference, just like in a real koala. I'm going back over where the chest is a little wider and just coloring white on top. If you can't do that, just add another layer of white till it shows up. Now I'm taking the light green and I'm just making those eucalyptus leaves in the tree for our koala. Eucalyptus leaves are actually really small and skinny and thin, but I liked the idea of the bigger leaves with the koala just to provide a pop of green here on my paper. Again, you're the artist. We're looking at something in nature, so you decide if you want to do more skinny leaves or if you would like to do bigger leaves like mine for your koala. Now I'm going to get out the dark brown or regular brown color, and this is where I'm going to add some details to the tan tree. And again, this adds texture. Remember, we're drawing what it looks like. So it's bark. So I'm going to have some rough lines, not smooth in there. It adds to the form of the tree to make it look three-dimensional, like our koala is sitting there. So I made sure to put the darker places, like where the koala's body would give a shadow, like around the hands and the feet. And then also around where the back of the koala is, where it's sitting. So you could do the same thing and draw your bark lines in on your tree. As we've been working on this, you probably have not realized it, but we have used all of our elements of art. We'll talk about how we use them all here at the finished picture, but I want you to see if you could pay attention to the actual using of line, color, shape, value texture, form, and space in our drawing. I went back and cleaned off my white, and now I'm just going to use my white to color over and blend. You could also do this with your finger, but it gets really super messy with a finger. So I'm just going to do this with the white. I have plenty of white oil pastels, so don't worry about that. When we do this with our oil pastel, it creates a really smooth finish, almost like we used paint, but we did not. We used oil pastels instead. It also helps with the texture and also the shading, because it kind of drags the dark brown color into where the tan is and helps it just really smooth together and give the impression of a real tree. We're doing this on the entire tree, by the way. And again, as you're coloring, it does not have to be really perfect because we want that bark texture to show. The last thing that I'm adding in for the tree is around the leaves where, again, it's closest to the tree. I'm coloring in with the dark green. You could do the same thing to show the shadows of the tree on the leaves. You could also use that dark green to kind of define the leaves more, like if you wanted to outline it. And then draw the veins that we see in the leaves and how it's attached to the tree. I'm going in again with the white, and I'm just kind of using it again like we did on the tree to blend in some places, again to give the leaves some different values of green on there. So you can do that to help blend in, or you could use your finger. Now the last step is adding the eyes, and then we're going to add what's called highlights onto the eyes and nose. You might remember we talked about highlights with our cartoon portraits we just finished, and the highlight is where in art the light is shining. So it's a little hard to see here in this angle of the video. Wait till I pull it out. There you go. And you can see that I added a highlight on the tip of the nose and the eyes for the koala, just to make it look a little bit more alive and realistic.